All right, what's going on, everybody? So, on today's episode, we're getting back on track with the Hangar levels. And for Hangar Level 4, there's two jets at Hangar Level 4. One is the A6 Intruder, which I do have, and the other one is the MiG-21 Fish Bed, which is this one right here, that I do not currently have. So, we'll just review the MiG-21, the Fish Bed first, and then I'll show you the A6. That way we can after that we can see about doing some gameplay on it real quick and go from there. Um I did a live stream earlier today, and there's one thing that one of the people on the live stream um had asked if, go over like techniques and stuff like that for the jets, cuz each jet should be played, very, I mean, it could be played very uniquely and stuff like that. Um so just once again, keep in mind I play on PC. It could be different um flight style on mobile. I'm not sure. But yeah, so it was Gmax 970 who suggested this. So I'm gonna go ahead and start going forward and implement or putting in my style of flight that I would suggest. Take it with a grain of salt, however you want. Of course, you have your own flight way of flying if you play the game, if you're watching this. But without further ado, let's go ahead and go over the fish bed. It is a light fighter. The durability, of course, because it's a light fighter, is a 1. Speed is 2. So it's okay, but I've seen it in battle, especially like mid to higher levels. It seems to be has a decent speed. I could be wrong because, like I said, I personally do not have this one yet. I will be getting it on my second account whenever I get to this level, because of the fact that I already have the A6, and this is one that I was wanting to get. The agility of it is a 4, so it does have the agility on it. It is a delta wing, so keep that in mind. Or no, it's not a delta wing. I'm tripping. So it definitely has the ability as a light fighter, as it should. So the difficulty level is a 2. One thing that I do like about this is the missiles. It's short range infrared. It's got 6 of them. Damage is 65, and this is starting off right out the gate. So of course this is at level 1. The speed of the missiles, 2,236 miles per hour. That is fast. So that's a pretty fast missile. Turn rate is 20 degrees a second. Lock angle is 12 degrees. Lock time 0.8 seconds. So obviously, the higher level you get, the shorter time this goes. So the quicker it can lock on. Let's see. The cannons is 115 damage per second. Ideal range is less than 0.7 kilometers. Vertical range 1.1 kilometers. Spread is very low. Overheat times 5.18 seconds. Infinite ammo, no armor piercing. So the cannons are okay. They're decent. And then of course it's the hit points 100. Top speed is 807, which is really good. So that's why I don't understand why it says the speed is, what was it, a 4, I think, or 2, 3, I don't remember. Acceleration is 180 feet second squared. Turn rate 37 degrees. So obviously it's not out turning the Gripen, the F-16. So keep that in mind. Ideal turning speed is 458 miles an hour. Afterburn fuel 9 seconds. So, and just keep in mind, like as it progresses and goes up, of course, all those are going to change. 3 flares. I believe it's a special where you can get the reserve fuel. So afterburner, it'll add 9 seconds for the afterburner. The passive is suppressing guns. Hitting an enemy with cannons triggers their flare cooldown. Cooldown to 31 seconds. So basically, you shoot them with cannons, they're unable to flare. If I'm reading that correctly, if I remember correctly. So that's definitely something good, especially if you're behind them. Shoot them with your guns and then fire your missile at them. Because if you fire your missile at them first, then they're able to use their flares. But if you shoot them with your cannons and you do damage, then that negates their flares, so that they're unable to flare out of the avoided missiles. So especially if you're close to them, you know, just a little word of advice doing that. Let's see here. So that's it for that one. So like I said, I don't have it on my main account, which is this one right here that I'm on. And that's the reason why I'm showing it on my main account, not my alternate account, because I'm barely at Hangar Level 2, I think, on that one. But the other aircraft at Hangar Level 4 is the A6 Intruder. This is a huge beast of a tank. Or not a tank, I'm sorry. A huge beast tank of a aircraft. It can take a lot of damage. Obviously, durability 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Speed, it is very slow, and it's at 1. Agility, of course, it's not going to turn on a dime. There's no way. Difficulty levels 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 stars. Trait, reduced damage taken from guns by 64%. Armor plating, and then full engines, reduce range at which enemies can lock on with heat-seeking missiles to 50% normal range. So that does help out with that. And of course, the special ability is the radar jamming, area jamming. So when it's activated, you'll see a circle, and you're playing the A6 will be in the dead center. Anything within that circle, it takes the enemy longer to lock in on those targets. So not just you, but also some of your teammates. So it's a good ability to have, especially with jets that have like the F-14 and stuff like that. They have long range missiles, long medium range missiles, because it takes them longer to actually lock in. So while they're trying to lock in, people are getting the notification, hey, you're being targeted. So that way they can do what they need to do, whether it's get behind cover or just prepare to flare if needed, something of that nature. Let's go over the. Come on now. All right, we'll start off with the actual base stats. Now I have mine at a level 11. The hit points are 321, top speed 621. Obviously, that's extremely slow. Acceleration is 98 feet per second. Turn rate is 33 degrees, so obviously you're not out turning any light fighters. Ideal turning speed 369 miles an hour, much slower than the MiG that we saw, the fish bed. Afterburner fuel is 30 seconds, so this allows you the ability to try to get into the battle as soon as you can, which obviously with the A6, it's going to take a minute to get there, even with the afterburner fuel. So the next one is going to be the cannons. Come on. There we go. Max damage 326 damage per second. Ideal range less than 0.6 kilometers. Vertical range less than 0.9 kilometers. Spread is very low. It doesn't overheat. The ammo is a limited amount of ammo, so that's something you do have to take into consideration and keep an eye on as the battle goes on, which is 1,000 rounds. It is not armor piercing, but it does come with rockets. So with this in mind, you can shoot the rockets as well as the cannons at the same time. So that way you can take down the enemy that much quicker. But the rockets, 114 rockets. So this too, you have to keep an eye on to make sure that you don't end up with zero ammunition, whether it's rockets or cannons. So you do have to keep an eye on that. The range for this one is 1.5 kilometers. Damage is 39. Speed 2,125, which is really good. Blast radius 7 meters. Rate of fire is 8 seconds flat as to where I have it right now. Like I said, it is at a level 11. So keep that in mind. And that is the passive ability burst afterburner. So I do suggest if you do get this jet, this is something that could definitely help you out because it does get your top speed up quicker, and the helps you out with acceleration and all that stuff. So that way you can get into the battle and make a difference that much sooner. Cooldown for it is 20 seconds, of course. The higher you go, the quicker that the cooldown will be. I'm not gonna go over mods just because one, like I said, I don't play this one very often. I guess if anything, I would say the thrust boost, and I would say either this one, the blast resistance, or the streak armor, just because the armor itself is so good. For the second one, so definitely the thrust boost, and I'm kind of leaning more towards this one. Grants a temporary armor bonus on kill, armor plus 30 per kill. So it does kind of help out replenish your armor as you go. So that could easily be a good one to use for this jet. If you have this at level 20 or 16, let me know in the comments below what you use for the mods. Just so that way it gives one, everybody else a better idea of what to use it with, and then two, helps me out thinking about, okay, well, I didn't think about the mods for whether it's I definitely will not do disruptive flares on this one. Um, whether it's faster flares, finishing guns, potentially even daredevil turning on this one, ideal maneuvering, all these other things that we have on it. Improved targeting, which I don't think improved targeting needs it. Finishing guns possibly, just because it gives you that extra boost for damage, the plus 20%. So you get to kill your enemy that much quicker. That's a potential winner as well. But yeah, so these are the two that are at level 4. I wish I did have to make the fish bed, just so that way I could show you gameplay of both of them. But unfortunately, like I said, I do not have that one, unfortunately. So let's see, what game mode are we in right now? Team Deathmatch Stone Forest. Not the best one because of the fact that Stone Forest has in the center map. But we'll go ahead and play it anyway. Oh, not mean to do that. So we'll go ahead and play that one, play this one, and see how it plays. And I'll try to give pointers on the way I usually play this jet, which, like I said, I don't play it very often. But let's go ahead and get at it and see what happens. All right, let's take a look. Nomads, Veil Evolution, got Bloodborne on our side. Bloodhound. So they got 112. So obviously MiG 31 is already going up top. I'll go ahead and activate. You see how it's got the circle, so therefore it's going to take the MiG 31 a little bit longer to lock in on people in my squad. And then what I do is just I look at the map and see where everybody's at, see who's flying where. Definitely want to take out that farmer because the farmer can be very dangerous. And then I see the M3. Oh man, I didn't get that kill. And you see how I was getting locked on, so instead of using flares, I went ahead and used the terrain. I see my abilities up, so let me go ahead and activate this again. Like I said, this helps out my teammates. And once again, I'm using the terrain to help benefit me. I wasn't able to get the MiG-19 that time. And he will definitely outturn me every single step of the way. Oh, no, he's not turning this way. He turned away. Yep. Kind of turned into them. I was hoping he was going to go a little bit further out. Come on now. Got him. Here we go. Took some time, but I was able to get him. All right, so I'm looking at the map. Let's see what's going on. So I see one coming in over here on this side. Got him. I see another one coming in. Like I said, I am always looking at the map. Oh, hit the brakes, hit the brakes, hit the brakes. Ooh, didn't get him, but I got close to it. Oh, I'm out of, oh, see, this is what I'm talking about. You have to pay attention to your ammunition, because if you look, I am completely out of ammunition. Low on health points. I got 2 flares left. So I gotta haul tail out of this situation. One, I want to get a repair. And then I want to go for a resupply of ammunition. Here we go. Shoot. But we do have somebody on my 6. Okay, beautiful. My teammate was able to help me out there. Thank you very much. All right. There we go. Now I'm resupplied. Able to get myself out of that whole situation. So the map and just situational awareness helps out so much. I knew I was gonna miss him. He just wanted to get his revenge before he died. But definitely within this map, if you're gonna play the center, which most action happens there, don't go past halfway. If you go past halfway, more closer to their respawn, they're going to be able to do more damage to you and your team than the other way around. Unless it's a team of bots, that's a different story. But oh, I didn't even know I had a mission in this thing. Forgot about that. Definitely keep that in consideration when flying any map, to be honest with you. I always play like if there's an imaginary line going straight down the middle of the map. Let me show you what I'm talking about real quick. We'll use Crucible as an example. I'm not going to fill it with bots. I'm just going to do just me. So that way you can see exactly what I'm talking about real quick. Okay. So obviously, this is something you can do also to explore the maps. I highly suggest you do this. I've said it before in one of my previous videos, so that way you can find a little of the nooks and crannies of everything like that. So, as for like the halfway mark, I should have flown a different jet. I should have flown a faster one. And see, this is what I was talking about. Like, you can shoot your. So these are my cannons. These are the rockets. You can shoot them both at the same time. So that way you can do more damage much quicker. So you see how the 3 resupply spots are on the map. 1, 2, 3. I treat those as the halfway marker. So just draw an imaginary line going across the map from one to the other, all the way through all 3 of them. I treat that as the halfway mark. So on this side, I will come out a little bit on this end, but I'll always try to duck back in to going back into my side. Typically, there's not much action usually that goes on over here. Every once in a while there is, but for the most part, it usually isn't very action-packed. Most of it is typically in the middle. On AS, of course, it'll be the other side of the map where a lot of the action goes to. And then as for like right here, when I'm in my fighter, my light fighters, I usually use this to kind of poke the ridge. So that way it gives me sight of where they may be at on this end, on their respawn. And vice versa. If you were respawning from this side and you want to see where they're coming in on that side, you can do the same thing on that little ridge line. And then on here, you can use this to help protect you from, if you're coming from either direction, to help got or help break line of sight with any kind of missiles. You can use this little ridge line as well to do that. Going either way, once again, any kind of terrain, use it to your advantage. This one does have this little pillar looking thing. May look like something else. I'm not going to say. But yeah. So then you can easily hit the base and then you can drop down. This is on air superiority. Drop down, use this. And then if you have the agility to do this, you come back up, hit the base, and then you can spin back around this way. Use it to shield you from missiles. And that way you can keep on doing that and make people angry. But yeah, I try not to pass up this out. Like obviously AS, that's where you want to go. I typically don't go anywhere past this point right here. Every once in a while I'll go to the repair if I need to. Obviously it's not my preferred one to go to because it's more in hostile territory. But for the most part, that's the ones that I would go to. And if you're unaware, so you got this part right here. But if you look to the right, you have this little cutout here that you can cut through and go from there. What's the interesting thing about this is where the map kind of mirrored itself here. Um, this side has the same thing. See, it's right there. See how the missile like lit it up. So you can do the same thing on this. So you can definitely use this as an advantage to evade or to just not be seen. And then of course air superiority, the other base is right here on this point. So it's like I said, it's mirrored to the other side. So you can flip the base, same thing, use that for your advantage if need, and just go from there. For this jet, because it's so beefy, it can take the hit. Do not try to do a turning battle with a light or medium jet. Odds are it's not going to work out very well for you, especially if they have people to help them out, any kind of wingman. So keep that in mind. This is definitely a frontal assault aircraft because of the ability that it has to take hits, but also the firepower itself. So definitely use that to its advantage. Just keep in mind it is slow. Like right now, let's see, at 400, 500 miles an hour. Of course, if you dive, it goes a little bit quicker. So definitely take that into consideration. You don't want to try to fly this like it's a light fighter because odds are it's not going to work out very well for you. And yeah, I suggest just doing that, just learning the plane, flying it, seeing what works for you, and go from there. Definitely take advantage of the shooting both cannons as well as the rockets because it has that ability to. And then also the special or the radar jammer. Definitely use that as well. To protect yourself as well as protecting your teammate. So it's definitely not a jet that I would play in AS and air superiority just because of the fact of the speed that it has. Now I have seen some people fly it in air superiority and done very well in it. I just personally do not suggest it because of the speed. Air superiority is definitely a speed. I would say reliant on speed more so than armor because it's not going off of kills. It's going off of the bases being captured. So take that into consideration while flying this one. But for team deathmatch is definitely a very good jet to have in that one because of the firepower as well as the armor that it carries with it. Okay, so siege draw. All All right, so let's go back to the home page. And then as for like the fish bed, of course, that's good for either one, I believe. Just because the firepower that it has, the agility, the speed, but it is a much easier aircraft to shoot down. So keep that into consideration as well. Um, but yeah, so that's gonna be it for. I mean, that's all I have for this one. That's gonna be it for this one. I am planning to have like a birthday stream um, on Thursday the 26th. Yeah, Thursday the 26th. I'm thinking about having it early in the morning and probably stream for about a good 4 hours or so. And then later on, and tomorrow, I'll still have my regular 8 o'clock live stream. So feel free to join. I am live streaming on both Twitch and YouTube now. Um, the YouTube chat for some reason doesn't show up on the stream, but I'm still able to see who's chatting on YouTube. It just doesn't show up on the live stream, unfortunately. Still not sure what's going on with that, but hopefully I can get that resolved sooner rather than later, but we'll see what we can do. Either way, like I said, I'm able to see it on my end. Either way. So I hope to see everybody there. Um, I'm just gonna be pretty much doing a live stream. I'm thinking about potentially showing my face. I don't know. Still debating on it. Maybe if some donations or something come in. I don't know. I haven't thought about it too much because just everything else that I have going on. But anyway, yeah. So that's gonna be it for this one. Let's see. What are the next? Okay, so on Hangar Level 5 actually has 3 jets. On that one, I may not be able to do an actual gameplay video because of the 3 jets. I may take up too much time talking about them, but we'll see what happens. But I do have all 3 of those jets, and I have played them all before. Um, so definitely check out some of my previous videos. It is the A4 Skyhawk, J35 Draken, MiG-19 Farmer, which is the MiG-19 Farmer is pretty much my favorite jet right now. Yeah, so without further ado, that's gonna be it for this one. If you like the video, hit that thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Help me get to 500 subscribers, and I'm trying to get the get on with their program to be able to earn financial gain through YouTube. So I still need to get 500 subscribers. I'm at 212, I believe, right now. And still need some watch hours, which is also why I'm beginning to live stream again on YouTube to help out with those watch hours. But that's going to be it for this one. Like I said before, thumbs up, subscribe, like, comment, let me know what you think. And until next time, peace.